Welcome to a session I'm calling Fit Yogalates a la Carte. We will be focusing on 3 separate segments, 1 addressing Pilates, 2 fitness, and finally 3 a yoga session. And this is all going to culminate into 1 complete program. You will need a mat, perhaps a pillow and a towel, and we will also be using a chair at one point. We'll start lying down on your mat, stretching out the arms and legs, finding that total body stretch. Looks like my personal trainer Balu is here to assist me today with my session. Stretching arms long, legs reaching long. We'll begin with the classical Pilates roll up, feet flexed. Let's inhale to prepare and exhale to roll on up, shoulders on top of hips, and then tuck the tailbone and rolling down through the spine on your back. Inhale, reach overhead, and exhale, roll up, shoulders on top of hips, and roll down, stretch overhead. We'll go for about 8 of these roll ups and roll downs. Adding a little T opener arm at the top. Exhale, sit tall, arms open wide, and then bring them forward before rolling down again. And let's stay down, arms by the side. Inhale, stretch one leg up to the sky. Let's point the toes and draw long and lovely ovals 6 times with that leg. Keeping the rest of the body nice and still, bottom leg stable. Reverse the direction the other way. Try to keep both legs straight. And bend that top knee in, reach the bottom leg halfway up, and let's switch and switch, alternating the legs into our single leg stretch. We'll keep the head down for this round. Neutral spine. Hug both knees in for a moment. And stretch the legs out long, arms by the side. Inhale, leg number 2, reaching to the sky, toes point. And let's draw those long, lovely oval circles. Frame of the body still and connected to the breath. Go for 6 and reverse the direction. Breathe through it. Bending that top knee in, let's float the bottom straight leg halfway between the floor and the ceiling. This time lifting head, neck, and shoulders, looking forward as we switch the legs. Single leg stretch with an ab curl with that spinal flexion. Reach the straight leg long and strong. Or you can try the canine version. And we'll move into rolling like a ball. Holding the back of the legs and rolling through the spine to the shoulder blades. Holding to the front of the legs now. Keep the heels close into the body. And we'll stay up at the top. Sitting on top of a pillow if you like. Extend the legs wider than your mat, feet flexed, moving into the Pilates saw. Arms open out to a T. Let's twist to the side and reach forward to the outside of that foot. And inhale tall through the center, spiral to the other side, And reach one arm forward and one arm back. Move from your midsection. Keep shoulders down. We'll add a little 3 pulse as we reach towards that baby toe. Twist and reach, reach, reach. Inhale, tall through the center. Twist and reach, reach, and reach. Inhale, tall through the middle. Rotate and pull the arms in opposition. And release. Coming down onto our side. Extend the legs piked a little bit in front of you. Lift the top leg a little higher than the height of your hip and bend that knee in before extending it forward in bicycle action. That leg back and behind you before bicycling in again. The show must go on. There will always be distractions, but nothing can stop you in your Pilates program. Let's reverse that bicycle leg. Inhale, sweep forward, bend the knee and reach it behind you before straight leg sweeps forward again. Somebody is trying very desperately to steal the focus, but they do not know what a Pilates superstar I am. We're talking about concentration and professionalism to the max. That top leg is now going to circle up, back, around, and down. Try to bring it a little bit behind the body. 8 circles and reverse. Keep abdominals pulled in, shoulders stacked. Reach out super long and let's lower. Side number 2. Coming down onto that elbow, stretching both legs, hips and shoulders stacked. Take the top leg up a little higher than the hip. Flex the feet, bend the top knee in, extend it forward, and bicycle sweep it around and behind you before bending and extending. Find that range of motion. Long reaching leg. The knee wants to bend as the leg moves behind you, but really extend from that hip flexor, pulling the leg back using your hamstring and glutes. Let's reverse the direction. Really focus and emphasize on that extension behind you and then sweeping the leg forward again. Bottom leg is still. Hug your doggy a little closer. Keep the leg behind you now for leg circles. Point the toes, and each circle the leg reaches longer and longer. Reverse the direction. Stretch through the knee. Reach out of the hip. And good job. Release that down. We're going to come up into a plank starting position. Hands under shoulders. Extend the legs back behind you. Try to keep the hips in line with the shoulders. Take one leg and lift it up and down, a little higher than the hip and just barely tapping to the ground 8 times. The Pilates pull down. Let's switch sides. Floating one leg up and pulling it down towards the floor. You can have flexed foot or pointed toes. Hold that plank for a moment and lower it down. Coming into a prone position on your abdominals, we'll stretch the legs back behind you, setting up for swan. Little external rotation, those legs. Let's open the elbows wide to the side. Exhale to press yourself up. Allow the spine to arch or arc away from the ground. Exhale to press. We'll inhale at the top and exhale, return down to neutral. Let the head and neck follow the extension of the spine and the return to neutral. Stretch the arms forward. And let's lift one arm and the opposite leg at the same time. Lift and reach away from each other and then lower back down. Exhale, lift and inhale, lower. Exhale, reach and inhale, lower. Go for lengthening. Try both arms and both legs at the same time. Even the kneecaps will lift and float above the ground. Stay here at the top now for swimming. Flutter the legs and arm to opposite leg, lifting up and down. Kick, 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 looking down to the ground. Try to breathe here. I know it's a hard position to keep the breath flowing. Think about the lengthening of the limbs and the strengthening of the core. Rest the forehead down on top of those stacked hands and just rocking the hips out side to side. Crossing at the ankles, knees bent. We'll just try a few push-ups here. Exhale, pressing up and inhale down. Maintain your alignment and form. Going for about 4 of these, and let's sit back to the heels and stretch. Transitioning to standing, we'll find the plank pose for a moment. Abdominals in, pike the hips high, downward dog. Walk the hands back to the feet, bend the knees, and slowly roll up to standing. We have somehow made it to our second segment, which is fitness focused. We'll begin with some squats. Parallel legs, hip width apart. We're going to sit back. Heels are weighted. Exhale to press up and inhale to sit into that squat. I like to lift the toes to keep the weight back into the heels, the back of the legs. Sit and stand, a great functional fitness move, a classic, a standard. Try to drop those hips low and keep knees on top of ankles. Let's add 3 pulses at the bottom before we stand up nice and tall. And sit, 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 exhale to the top. Pull the abdominals in as we sit a little lower and stand up a little taller. We're going to stay down for a set of 8 pulses. Keep the weight shifting back, heels heavy, chest lifted, abs in. Reach those arms forward, sit lower, and then finally coming up to standing. Good job. We're going to move the chair into play as we shift our focus to the back of our arms, triceps. Fingers facing forward. Try to keep your tailbone close to the chair as you bend those elbows. The elbows bend back behind you as hips drop, and then you're going to press up, straightening the arms, strengthening triceps. I have legs together. inner thighs squeezing in, but try not to use those legs or glutes. Try to find the work in the back of the arms. There's a deep stretch in the front of the shoulders and the chest area as you bend. Go for about 15 or 16 and then give those arms a little shake. Single leg deadlift. Not going to use a weight unless you have one you can hold in front of you. I'm just using an imaginary weight. We're going to find our balance, gain some focus, some concentration here. One leg reaches back as you reach the arms down, but you should maintain your neutral spinal alignment. So no rounding, no arching. Long spine, collarbone reaches forward, tailbone reaches back. Exhale to stretch the leg back and inhale, standing tall. Going for 12. Hold here. You can bring hands to the hips and try pulsing that back leg up and down 8 times. Lots of core to maintain that balance. And side number 2. Keep hands on the hips, or you can reach the arms down in front of you. You can even be holding on to a weight. Exhale, reach the chest forward as the back leg stretches energetically behind you. Go for 12. Keep a soft bend in that supporting knee. We're going to hold the last one. More abdominals in as we pulse that back leg up and down, up and down. Focus point on the ground and slowly back to the top. Great. Let's find an external rotation for our last move here. Calf raises. We're floating the heels up and pressing the heels down with control, with precision. Hands on hips or arms open to the side. T-shape, palms forward. Keep standing tall. Big toes planted. Pick up the tempo. Quicker, faster, up, up, up. Can you stay up with those heels? Reach the arms forward, reach the arms up. Little wider V-shape arms down to a T-shape. Let's keep the heels lifted and try a little bend in the knees, pulsing and focusing. Grand finale here, a little bit of ballet action mixed in. Great. Drop heels and release. Can you believe we are at our final segment? Coming into mountain pose, let's inhale, look up and reach up before we exhale, spilling forward over those legs, hands to shins as we inhale, heart lifts, and exhale, step back into plank. Bend elbows through chaturanga and just come up into a cobra before moving through plank and into downward dog. Let's walk the dog here, bend one knee then the other. Anchor both heels down before walking the feet forward into your forward bend. Neutral spine, and exhale, bend the knees through chair and standing into mountain pose, spilling back over the legs. Inhale, heart lifts forward away from the legs, and exhale, step one leg back, drop that back heel, and let's find warrior one, looking up to the sky. Hands to the mat, step back into plank, bend elbows through chaturanga, and this time up into upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. Take the second foot forward and find warrior one, looking up, bend into that front knee. Bring hands down, step back into plank, move through chaturanga, upward dog, exhale, down dog. Anchor heels. Step or walk the feet forward, hands to shins, lift the heart before folding into the legs. Bend the knees and find chair pose. Coming up through mountain, hands to heart center before grazing the floor into chair pose. Spill over the legs, forward bend, lift the heart halfway up, and exhale. Let's step back this time into warrior two. Front knee bent, windmilling, arms open, looking over that front shoulder. Back leg strong. Windmill, so opposite hand drops down and twist towards that front leg before coming back into plank, chaturanga, through upward facing dog and down dog. Breathe in. Foot number 2, stepping forward, establishing warrior 2. Shoulders on top of hips. Bend into that front knee, back heel drops. Windmill, arms down, twist towards that front knee, open up the heart, looking up. Bring both hands down, feet back into plank, bend through chaturanga, upward facing dog, exhale, down dog. Hold and breathe. Step or hop the feet forward. Lift the heart up, exhale, fold into the legs, and then find chair pose. Looking up, standing tall through mountain, hands to heart center. And fingertips graze the mat. Look up as you bend deeper into chair pose. Fold over the legs, this time hugging the chest in to those legs, holding on to the calves before setting the hands on the shins. Inhale, lift the heart halfway up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach one leg back behind you, and let's lift up into warrior 3. Reaching arms back or option into a T shape. Drop one hand down and see if we can move into half moon pose. Maybe looking forward or up to the sky. And then parallel the hips. Find warrior 3. Stepping back into high lunge. Look to the sky. Interlace the fingers except for the index as you reach up high and bring both hands down. Step back into plank. Through chaturanga. Upward dog. Exhale. Down dog. We'll try that same sequence on side number 2. Inhale, step the other leg forward. And lift the back leg, finding warrior 3. Arms by the side, squeezing into the center, or reach the arms to a T shape. That supporting leg, the same side arm is going to drop down as we rotate into half moon. Looking down or forward or up, keep the legs active. Turning down to look at the floor again before both arms reach back into warrior 3, and then set the back toes down, heel stays lifted as we move into high lunge. Looking up, bending into the front knee, drop hips. And hands to the mat, step back to plank. Shoulders over wrists, chaturanga. Through up dog, exhale, down dog. Stay and breathe. Inhale, lift one leg high to the sky, bend that knee and let the trunk of the body twist into this lovely hip opener. And square off the shoulders and hips as we move into pigeon. Inhale, lift the heart up and reach the hands back behind you, holding on to the edges of the mat to intensify that spinal extension, throat opener. Exhale, folding forward over the leg. Inhale to lift up and exhale. See if the arms can reach farther forward. Get more length from fingertips to toes. Inhale, walk the hands in and rotate so you're sitting on those sitting bones, folding over that straight leg, feet flex, side body bend. Take your bottom hand and hold to the top wrist. Pull it a little longer. More stretch through the shoulders and lats and side body. That extended leg is going to bend on top of the bottom leg as we twist into that leg, using opposite arm to hug the knee close, looking over the back shoulder. Sit taller and exhale, breathe deeper. Turn towards the other direction as we unravel, unwind, and find our way back into down dog. Inhale, leg number 2, lift it high to the sky and bend that knee. Allow it to twist for the hip opener, and then square off shoulders and hips as the top leg comes through the center, landing into pigeon pose. Fingertips press down to lift up. And you can even walk the hands behind you, holding onto the edges of the mat for a deep throat and heart opener, looking to the sky, letting the head drop back before pulling the spine forward over the front leg. Elbows drop, breath in. Coming up a little higher and exhale, reaching out a little farther with the fingertips, forehead rests. Stay for a few moments of breathing. Inhale, walk the hands back and start to sit onto both sitting bones. Keep that extended leg straight, feet flex as we reach up and over into our side bend. Bottom hand will reach to the top wrist, pulling more length and stretch and sensation through the top side of the body. Come through the center. That straight leg is going to fold over the bottom leg so both knees are bent. Try to drop the full foot down into the mat as you twist into that top knee, hugging it in close. Press down with the back hand into the floor. Collarbone lifts, crown of the head lifts. Breath drops in. And twisting the other direction, let's press down in the feet to come all the way up, moving into a forward fold over the legs. Feet are stepping on to the palms, toes to the wrists, release the head and neck. Shake out the head a little bit. Breathe into the legs, the hips, the back. Release the hands, take the feet a little wider than the mat. External rotation might be necessary for you to drop the hips all the way down. Hands to heart center, lift the heart up. Let elbows press into inner knees. Reach the arms forward and eventually hands behind you as we move into a seated position. Space behind you on your mat. Find boat pose, legs straight and strong floating in front of you. Release the arms and take it back into a wider boat or canoe. And with control, lower all the way down onto the ground. You have made it into your final resting pose, Shavasana. You can bring hands onto the low abdomen. Breathe in with a nice big belly breath. Exhale. Let the air out. Bring arms by the side, palms up to the sky. Let the legs just flop open. Close the eyes and tune into the breath, the rhythm of the breathing. And let the body, let the system settle. Good job, everyone. You have managed to complete not one, not two, but 3 different segments, all interesting and stimulating for body and mind. Until next time.